What's that? All right, let's jump right into this. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Yesterday, Michigan fired Sharon Moore for allegedly having a inappropriate relationship with a staffer. According to Michigan rules, coaches aren't allowed to be involved with staffers. So that is a reason to fire any coach for cause. That phrase, firing a coach for cause, is very big because if you're fired for cause and the school no longer owes you what you had on your contract. If you think about what was going on at LSU, they tried to fire or tried to say that Brian Kelly was being fired for cause, but he wasn't being fired for cause. He didn't do anything inappropriate or had any kind of misconduct. They just didn't want to pay the man because he wasn't from down there. And I'm not going to go into that because that leads into a circular argument, and I don't have time for it today. But the fact that he did that let Michigan off the hook of paying the rest of his salary. So for him to get involved in a relationship like that is very disappointing. If that is the case, knowing what would happen if he were to be caught. Not only that, the man's been married for about 10 years. He's got kids. So he's cheating on his wife. He's got an inappropriate relationship. And on top of that, at the end of the day, he goes to jail for investigation about a possible assault. So I'm trying to figure out what that could possibly be. Maybe he went home. And I don't know how you tell your wife you just got fired for having an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. And sources are telling me that the person he's with is pregnant. And that is the reason everything came to light. Now, the problem I got with this, the first thing that jumps out to me is how long have you known this? If you have a zero tolerance policy against this kind of thing, the second you find out about it, that means you are so disgusted by such an act that you're going to fire the coach immediately. But they didn't do that. Evidently, they had to know this was going on. Yeah, you can say they were investigating, but that's not true at all. If you know that somebody is involved with somebody, take the situation that happened at Penn State when they start accusing Sandusky. As soon as he was accused, he couldn't have nothing else to do with the university. So the same thing should have happened if Michigan had known about Moore. Now, as I look deeper into the situation, knowing how these people up there think, I start to put all the pieces together, and this is what I think about it. Going back to Harbaugh. Harbaugh was investigated for a couple of things. But the biggest thing that we know Harbaugh was being investigated for was the sign stealing thing. That caused pretty much Harbaugh to get suspended. And when all that was going down, he's, look, I got national championship. Let me get out of here. First chance I get, I'm gone. So they win the national championship. He takes the Chargers job. He could care less what happens at Michigan. So you need a coach to come in to ride the wave until this whole thing goes away. Moore, the offensive coordinator who has stepped in for Harbaugh after he got suspended, he comes in, does a good job, elevated to the head coach. Now, even though he's the head coach, he's really there, in my opinion, to ride out this investigation. If he does great, hey, we hit a home run. But he may not do that great, and that's fine because we got a reason to possibly get rid of him if he doesn't perform well. In other words, he's there primarily to guide the program through a rocky time led by the previous coach. He did that. And then this year, what happens? He didn't make the playoffs last year. He got beat by Ohio State this year. And perhaps that is the real reason why all of a sudden they come out with this information about him having an inappropriate relationship. Seemed like to me they've known for a while. And when you add the fact that they're not on investigated anymore, they didn't beat Ohio State. They're not in the playoffs. There's some big name coaches out there we could get. Let's can this guy. And he just gave us a reason to get rid of him by doing something that we know he was doing the whole time. So I think as you tie it all back together, Brian Kelly now becomes one of the top candidates at the University of Michigan. I thought he was going to wind up at Penn State. But with all the stuff dragging out at LSU, it wasn't a smooth transition for him. So he had to fight all of that. It wouldn't make sense for him to take a job in the middle of LSU trying to say they're not going to pay him. He needed to get that resolved before he moved on to anywhere else. Now that that's been resolved, he's going to get his money. He can go get another job now, and then they can resolve the rest of it later. Penn State had to make a move, so they went down and got Matt Campbell out of Iowa State. And that leaves Kelly wide open to walk right back into the state of Michigan where he started. Started at Grand Valley State or something like that. Did pretty well there and moved on and ended up where he did at LSU. He didn't fit in down there, but he's a northerner for sure up there. So it wouldn't be a bad fit if you take a guy like Brian Kelly. Now, will he fully fit in with them is the question. And the fact that he's not a Michigan man per se, that may rule him out. But that remains to be seen. But I'm disappointed at Moore for putting himself in that situation because I thought he's a little slicker than that, and not to get himself caught up in something like that. But he is a man, and you know about men, they get into all kind of stuff. And a high-profile, visible position like University of Michigan head coach, there are opportunities everywhere. And just like what happened at Michigan State, you wonder if some of this stuff is rigged. Was he set up? Is he in the cross? And I think most of it, he's in the cross. But he gave him ammunition by getting involved in an inappropriate relationship. But he should have had, after what happened to Tucker up in Michigan State, with somebody surrounding him at all times, keeping people away from him. He didn't do that. And now here we go again. So let's see what you guys have to say about that. Hey, Ronnie, Lim, I appreciate you. Break Forever, what's going on, man? JC, I hadn't seen you in a while. I hadn't seen Break in a while. He was not winning, needed an excuse to get rid of him. Yeah, I just said that. I think that he was a scapegoat to cover up for what Harbaugh was into. And now that Harbaugh is gone, he's not worried about any kind of probation or something like that. And Moore is just set up to take the fall. So now a new coach is going to come in there and go from there. Kind of reminds me of what happened to Sylvester Croom down at Mississippi State. He struggled those 4 or 5 years he was there, trying to get the program back on track after being on probation. And then after X amount of time, when you see the program starting to rise, then they get rid of him. And then they bring in who they really want to bring in. And they don't have to deal with all the crap that Croom had to deal with. So in other words, they bring in a guy that we know we don't really want him, but we're going to give him a shot. And we're going to say that we're being progressive, but in reality, you're not, because the guy's got to deal with all kind of stuff that he shouldn't have to deal with. And he does well under the circumstances, but not quite well enough that you can say, we're going to keep this guy and we're going to find a way to get rid of him. And damn if they didn't do it. Same thing with Moore, and it happens all the time, man. So I like to see who Michigan is going to get. The way they talking, kind of like the way the LSU people talking. Because we're Michigan, we got a deep enough pocket to go out to whoever we want. And if we call you, damn it, you better call us back because we're Michigan, and you got to take our call. I don't believe that, but that's the way they think. JC says, I think the quarterback Underwood stay at Michigan if Brian Kelly is selected coach. He originally was going to LSU to play for Kelly, but Michigan offered NIL money to LSU. Yeah, that's fine, but I look at it like this, JC. If I'm Brian Kelly, I don't want it. You go somewhere else. You crossed me before, and you sold to the highest bidder. Go ahead on. I find me another quarterback. So that's just me. Once you turn me down once, I'm through. And I don't give a damn if you're 20,000 yard passer a year. It doesn't matter. I can still find somebody to fit my system better than what you do. And don't have to worry about you defecting. Because that's what Underwood's going to do. He's going to defect to the highest bidder. There's no more loyalty. And just like the coaches can run around, so too the players. All right. Good morning, Pancake Streamer. Break says that was true. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with this guy, man. He disappointed me. I don't want to tie him to, say, Sharp, but Sharp disappointed me that he got into the situation. I thought he was slick enough to avoid such things, but I guess it's hard. I never had the luxury of, well, I wouldn't say luxury. I haven't had the curse of being having millions of dollars that everybody know I got, and everybody's shooting at me. But I played the lottery, certain forms of the lottery. I don't play the big lotteries. You could play Powerball for 40 years with the same numbers and never win nothing. But if you play the smaller games, you're going to win something several times a year if you are consistent with it. So if I was a Powerball player and I hit for a couple million and they put my name out there and you got people calling you from everywhere, don't call me. Because I know there's a very small number of people that call me on a consistent basis. So if you start calling me all of a sudden out of the blue, trying to be buddy and all that, I don't want to hear that shit, man, because I already know why you calling. You hadn't been calling before. Don't call me now. Matter of fact, I put on my answering machine the words of the great Too Short. He had a song about the women trying to call him. You give them their number, but the number won't do him any good because either you want to answer it and give you a wrong number. He said, ringing my phone and you will see. Ringing my phone just won't get me. That's me. So they could call all day, but they won't get in contact. But Sharon and all these other guys making these millions of dollars, people know what they make. These professional athletes, people know what they make. They got people shooting at them all the time. They really don't get a whole lot of peace. So if I'm making that kind of money, I'm going to have people around me to keep all that negativity away from me, because all it does is cause you problems. And here more is he got weak, and the word is he's got somebody pregnant. And if that's the case, he's triply messed up. He's gonna lose his wife. She's gonna sue him in divorce court. I don't know where he got married, and he's gonna lose a pretty penny there. I don't know how soon it's gonna be before he can get back on the sidelines. I don't know if they're gonna charge him for this potential assault thing that he went to jail for last night. So Moore's got a bad situation he needs to hurry up and resolve. It's actually deeper than just losing your job, your football job. He's looking at, what am I going to do moving forward for the next several years? And if they derail him now, they might not even hire him as a high school football coach. So I don't know what's going to happen to this guy, man. Okay. Vic Tate said, who cares? I don't know what that comment is based on. The Jews are going to get all the money. Jews laughing and racing. I'm not getting into all that. Okay, you guys are tripping. I'm going to ignore that one. But break, man, what's going on, man? Your Ravens, I finally knocked you off again. I still only have a 1-game lead on you, so I'm not safe there. There's 4 more games to play. We got to play again. And Pittsburgh's got the Dolphins, a hot team. I don't know who's going to get that final spot, those final couple spots in the AFC. The Dolphins, they got a lot to say about it because they're going to play some teams and they can shake up things. If they're able to run out the rest of the season, they're going to end up with 7 losses and they're going to end up in the playoffs. Having done so, they will knock out Pittsburgh because there's only one team going to come out of the North now, with both teams having those 7 losses. I think the best thing happened to Baltimore or Pittsburgh, whoever wins that division, is the fact that Cincinnati collapsed at Buffalo. that put Cincinnati at 10 losses, so they don't have enough time to get caught up. But that's one team that you really don't want to play, the Bengals, because you don't know what they're going to do. And Buffalo, you can beat Buffalo. Pittsburgh can beat Buffalo, so can Baltimore. But Kansas City, they can't afford no more shakeups, but all the teams ahead of them, they don't have the tiebreakers working in their favor. That's the same kind of thing that normally happens to Pittsburgh. They would lose a whole bunch of conference games, and at the end of the season, they will never be in shape to be winning those tiebreakers. So same thing is going to happen to the Chiefs unless you have a collapse taking place above them. At Jacksonville, they got the Jets this week. That's a game they should win. But if you're following Jacksonville, you know that's a game that they very could well lose because they might just be looking ahead to the Broncos instead of worried about the Jets. And if they were to somehow lose to the Jets and then turn around and lose to the Broncos, then all of a sudden that Colts game, the rematch, has a whole lot more weight to it. And a lot of people are laughing at the fact that they went out and hired a very old Phillip Rivers. I'm not laughing because I know with the style of offense the coach run, they're going to run Taylor. And they're going to play action with Taylor, and they're going to hit those passes out in the flats. And Rivers, he's got the savvy to check off and do what he wants to do. And I guarantee you, even though he's 44 and he doesn't have a full grasp of the offense, he's going to come to that line and he's going to see some things. And he's already told the receivers what he might do. And he's going to make a big difference with the Colts. All they have to do, just like Aaron Rodgers, is to keep him upright. If you can keep him upright, he's going to cause a problem. I guarantee he's going to cause a problem. All right? It's open for any team in the AFC. Yeah, it is. Denver, they don't have enough offense to really impress me. New England, you could beat them, but they do have a defense. And I like the way they were hitting the other night on, who they playing? The Giants, I think. I think it was the Giants they were playing. Jackson Dart comes skirting down the sideline and the dude flipped him over. That was a hit. That's football to me. And I like to see that kind of stuff. And New England, again, you can beat that team. You can beat Denver. They don't have to worry too much about Kansas City. Based on all the hype and everything, it just might be Buffalo's opportunity to get back to the Super Bowl. But can they do it? They got a running back. They got a quarterback who could do it. You know he's going to take off and run when he has to. If they can get Kincaid back and fully healthy, then Buffalo could make a deep run. But like you say, Break, anybody in the AFC can win it. And probably shaping up to be the same thing in the NFC. Detroit, they could possibly do it, but the head coach is their biggest enemy. He wants to go for it on all these damn fourth downs. That's great once or twice, but all the time, he'll end up biting him like he did a couple of years ago. He could have beat San Francisco if he hadn't been going for all them damn fourth downs. And who else we got in the NFC? Philadelphia, they're right for the picking. San Francisco, they're steady if they can get some quarterback play. The Seahawks, if Sam Darnold doesn't turn back into Sam Darnold, they can do well. Minnesota, forget about them. Chicago, I don't think they have enough bullets to get to the championship right now. So it's wide open in the damn NFL. Any team can go that is eligible for the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how this takes place. But you're right, Rivers is better than Jones, but he hadn't played. He's also better than Anthony Richardson. Definitely better than Riley Leonard and what's his name? Brett Ripien. So it's an improvement, but can you keep him upright is the question. And I think Rivers is smart enough to get out of situations and stay healthy. So the Colts, to me, went from it's over to they got a chance to do something now. And I think that it's going to get very interesting in the AFC South because, again, Jaguars have to play the Broncos, and then they got to come back and play the Colts. And even though the Titans don't have anything to really play for other than pride, they're going to close the season at Jacksonville, and they have an opportunity to cause the Jaguars some problems. So it's going to be very interesting these next 4 weeks. So, but I asked the question: is Michigan justified for firing its football coach? Just over half of you are saying um, that they are, and I think he put himself in position to get fired by getting into this inappropriate relationship. Maybe that I can't say that. Sometimes relationships, you end up in relationships with people that are find themselves around you purposely. So maybe she could have been planted there. I don't know, but I can't blame her for it. I blame him because he's the one's making the decisions. And if you're making whatever he was making, and you're in a position where you don't have a whole lot of coaches that look like you in a prestigious university like Michigan, the last thing you want to do is blow it over some chick. You can go anywhere to get a chick. You can go back to his hometown and get somebody. You can go anywhere. Why would you pick somebody that's putting you in position to lose a high profile job? His whole career now is in jeopardy. He may not get another job, at least anytime soon. He's got to get all this stuff behind him. His wife probably going to file for divorce. Um, Nobody's going to give him a job immediately. And what's he going to lose between now and then? What does he have held in reserves to get him through such a patch like this? So it's a lot of questions that he has to answer that only he has answers to. And I like to see if he's going to be charged. What I'm thinking is, after coming home, his wife probably had her brother or somebody there waiting on him to confront him about the situation he was in. And then a scuffle took place and he had to get the dude off him. And then he turned around and get charged for the damn assault. Well, how can you assault somebody if they come to your house to cause you problems? It doesn't add up. But that's just my theory. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I don't see why something like that couldn't happen, because a lot of times brothers of their brothers will come to the defense of their sister if they feel like they're being wrong, especially in a highly visible position like what Jerome Moore was in. So anything is possible in that case. But I think there's no reason for him to be getting into any trouble now. How all of a sudden you get an assault charge the same day you get fired. It has to be related to the news of all this breaking out and the effect it's having on his wife and her family. And I guarantee you that is the reason why he's facing an assault investigation. So once he gets by that, he'll go somewhere and he might go to a smaller tier school. He'll bounce back. Might take him a while, but I think he'll be all right. He just got to get past this and expect him to lose a whole bunch of money because, like I say, he was married. And I don't think he's going to be married much longer. So that's his problem. But I just want to comment on that. And more news is going to come out later. But I got some intel this morning. Evidently, it's going around the Michigan alum or the Michigan network where they talk to each other, that is saying that he got the staffer pregnant. And that's probably the real reason why he got fired, because I'm sure that a lot of these people getting in relationships with people all around campus. And as long as you don't do nothing egregious like get the person pregnant, then they tend to look the other way. If you beat Ohio State, they'll definitely look the other way. But you did two sins. You didn't beat Ohio State. That's the biggest sin to them people. And you get her pregnant, and we got you on signature saying that you won't do anything to get fired for cause. Oh, we got your ass. Brian Kelly's out there. Oh, man, let's get rid of this dude. That investigation with the sign stealing, that's over with. Oh, man, we got to get rid of it. So even though he's wrong, he put himself in a position to get fired. At the same time, he's in a position that people really don't want him there, and they find a way to get rid of you. So that's about all I can say about that. But anyway, I appreciate you guys chiming in with me, man. And hold up. Now, boy, they said Mitchell and Coates went to jail. What do you mean Mitchell and Coates went to jail, Navo? I don't know what that means, Mitchell and the Coates. It's open for any team in the AFC. And I got to research that. I don't know what that means. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. But I'm going to keep an eye on this Jerome Moore story. I'm sure more is going to come. More of the story is going to come out today, and we'll find out some more details. And I want to find out how Rivers is doing. It's my understanding, like I thought, once he got into camp and throwing the ball around a little bit, um, he's going to be named the starter. Now, one thing about it, he's been sitting down for like 5 years. But here's the deal: he's got a whole bunch of kids. So of course, you got some sons, and he's going to be out there throwing the ball with them. So his arm is still alive, and hell, even Roger Staubach still be throwing the football, and he's 80 years old. So you don't hurt yourself when when you stop playing because you're always going to be out there tossing the ball around just for exercise standpoint. So again, it looks better and better for the Colts the more you talk about the situation surrounding Phillip Rivers. All right, JC says, I think quarterback. Okay, I already read that. All right. And if Underwood leaves Michigan, does he have to get back some of the? No, I don't think so. I think you get paid like on a yearly basis. So you have a contract per year to get it. It's like the guy at Duke. He left Tulane to go to Duke, and I think it was going to pay him like $8 million, but it was just for that year. If you take the pitcher at Texas Tech, they're paying her $1 million to pitch, and she re-signed to get that same $1 million. So I think the money that Underwood got, he's getting that on a yearly basis. So if he re-signs with them, yeah, he's going to get that money back. Get another chance to make that money. So it should be good. You think Brian Kelly would do a good job at Michigan? I think he would fit better at Michigan than he did at LSU. Anything that he did wrong at LSU, because he's a Southerner, not a Southerner, he looked at to me as a modern day carpetbagger. You know, the carpetbaggers was around the Civil War. After that ended, that's what they called them because they carried those bags made out of carpet. He's the same to them as the people that came down there doing Reconstruction. For anything that he did wrong or they start losing one or two games that they should win, he's going to be gone. But if they think they got an improvement with Lane Kiffin, that's not going to go very well. I just got a feeling it's not going to go very well. And they asked for it. They got him. And he messed up by going to LSU because he had his own program at Ole Miss. But that's not good enough for him. He's got to go somewhere else and try to duplicate somebody else's success and then talk trash to the people on the way out. He's going to burn himself again. But Kelly, he would fit in there, except for the fact that he's got his quirky way of doing things, and that might wear thin on some of the Michigan people because that's a little bit different from what they're used to. That's the only hold up with him. But his winning record, you cannot deny that. Not only if he doesn't get that job, then they're probably going to try to go to the NFL and bring somebody in to do that. But they like to hire people that are Michigan men, as they call it. But Michigan men aren't the only ones that can coach football. And Kelly, I think in that case, would do a good job with that. But me, if you fire me and you owe me $53 million on a buyout, I'm not taking the job. You're going to pay me my $53 million. And then when I get all my money or satisfied that I got most of it, then I go look for a job. But if you don't want to hire me at that point, fine. I'm still going to collect that money you owe me. And that's just the way it is. But these guys, they just got to prove I got a coach. I'm going to show everybody that what happened at this previous school, that was not me. This is real me. Now I'm ready to go right now. Shit, you're going to pay me my money is what you're going to do. And that's just the way I feel about that. But yeah, Break, I think he'll do a good job. So anyway, the poll votes didn't change any. Still 52% of you think that he got fired for cause. And yes, he put himself in that position. So I can't deny that. But I think that it's more to it than just losing, being involved with a staffer. They had to know that was going on. It's just something. Anytime you get a high-profile position, they have to have something on you, and they had that on him the whole time. So as soon as he messed up and did something that they didn't like or lose to Ohio State, they were going to get rid of him. I think if he had lost to Ohio State last year, they would have got rid of him. So that's just me. Kelly, I hadn't heard anything about what Kelly is, but if it was me, I'd be on the island somewhere sipping my ties and laughing. That's what I do. Yeah, they're saying that he got the chick pregnant. I got some inside information on that, and that's the information I got this morning. So if he did that, then they can't hide it anymore. But if she wasn't pregnant, then um, they can sweep it under the rug. But who knows? Maybe she said went to the university and told them I'm pregnant, and they are forced to do something. But like I said, those people up there care more about Ohio beating Ohio State than anything else, even winning a national championship. Beat Ohio State. That's all we care about. And as long as you do that, we don't care what you do. And he beat them last year. They had to know about the relationship last year. Now she's pregnant, and you lose to Ohio State. Oh, you got to go, man. All right, I guess I sat here too damn long. I got a little timer system here, and when the timer goes off, that means. Anyway, I got to get up out of here, man. Still getting ready to ring, so I'm in with me here. There's some breaking news back on first thing in the morning, and we're gonna have a great day. The next time, and we really have to get. I get up out of here. You guys have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. For real, I'm out. I'm coming. Hold on.